Hi people, welcome to Voices Before the Vote, a special episode of Phone Call Production. Today, we've invited your very own Mr. Kwanzaa, NK, and Lolisto, aspirants for the local NUGS president. Now let's hear from them as they share their plans to address your concerns if elected into office.
Mr. Kwanzaa, to begin with, many students have a feel that the hostel fees have become unbearable. What's your position on this, and how would you like to work together with the stakeholders to reduce the accommodation fee and make it more affordable and comfortable for students?
First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. So I'm Nana Kofi Amokwansa, aspiring for local NUGS president and a student leader who believes in service, transparency, and progress. And thank you for once again for asking me that question. So about the hostel prices, I think is very nice question, and I think it's much concerned. Everybody wish to at the end of the semester, or they will be there and they will hear that the prices of the hostel has been reduced. So if I get the mandate to become the next local NUGS president, what we'll be doing is we'll work in hand with the SRC administration to set up an hostel fee audit committee so that they will work in hand with the administration and they will do something about the SRC and also about the hostel fee, sorry. And also we are going to the administration will make sure the administration negotiates well with the hostel managers or the hostel reps so that the prices of the hostel will be reduced.
Hostel prices are increasing year by year. Sure, people are complaining. People have to move outside. People have to move outside to spaces which are not comfortable for them to live. But because of financial constraints, they have to live in those spaces. As you know, you have to be comfortable to learn, to produce academic excellence. All you, as local NUGS president and administration, to reduce this cost of prices as they are increasing.
So I think this hostel price is something that we all has interest in it, because me myself I will pay hostel fee, you yourself you pay hostel fee. Everybody must pay a hostel fee before you enter into a hostel. And then once the prices too are increasing, it puts a burdens on us and then our parents too as well. So my administration is going to make sure that since the highest power on campus, the SLC, we are going to make sure the SLC we voice through our voice, we make it known to the SRC that this is what the students are saying, so let's do something. This is what we will span, we will table before them. You see, the reason why the hostel prices are increasing is because most of the private hostels are not under the school. The ones that they have higher prices, they are the ones that are not accredited by the school. So we are going to make sure that we get all these private hostels under the school so that the school can maintain and regulate their prices. Because if the school if the hostels are not under the school, that's where they get the opportunity to do whatever they like. And as a matter of fact, if something happens to you yourself in a private hostel, the school cannot do nothing. But then if it's accredited and then it's under the school, that's where the school can come at your aid. So we're going to make sure that we get all these people on board and then maintain them under the school, and then we will give them our conditions. So hereby a case where, let's say somebody need hostel, you need to come to us. Let's say I need a hostel, let's say Lost Hostel. You need to come to us. Once we know the one that are under the school and accredited by the school, so we will tell you that okay, this is there, this is there, this is there, and then for that matter, this is the price. So that you will not go for a private hostel and then you go and pay a higher price. That's what the store seeks to do.
People complain about the network, the hostel fees on campus. That people are pricing hostels crazy high, and as students, you can't afford them. What's your plan as the next local NUGS president to get a nod to reduce the hostel prices?
Okay, thank you for the question. Because you see, one thing concerning hostel prices is that I strategize my policy and innovations in such a way that it will cut across all the students. I don't know whether you get me. So concerning hostel price, I don't know whether you know this people called rent control. You see, rent control is in charge of all the renting issues in Ghana per se. So right now, all that I'm supposed to do as a local NUGS president, if I'm to come on board, that I will have an accommodation dialogue. You get me? An accommodation dialogue with the hostel managers and rent control. So all that I will do is that I'll go to the hostel managers, speak to them, ask them what is causing all this increase in hostel prices. I don't know whether you get me. Then when I gather their information, I forward it to the, how do you call them, rent control, and tell them that this is what the hostel managers are saying. You understand? And have this accommodation dialogue with them through the dean of students. Then we can get a precise answer to solve all these hostel prices. And whilst this can be done, we have to link up with the SRC to make sure that, you see, what I'm bringing on board is an accommodation dialogue. You understand? An accommodation dialogue which aids in inclusivity. So bringing the SRC president on board and bringing rent control on board and also the Ghana Tourism Board on board will help clear all these hostel prices, since they will all be under one community and one umbrella to decide for the school.
All right. Another pressing issues or recurring issues: poor network access on campus and hostels. In past times, most local NUGS presidents have come our way together with ETA's president and say to resolve it, but we don't see light of it. What will you do differently in terms of the network issues and network access when you go to some hostels and on campus as well? As you know, we are in a virtual environment where we learn online.
Yeah.
Yes. What will you do differently?
All right. Thank you very much for this question. I think it's a very big problem on campus, and let me say not on campus, around Takwaye. I think network problem. Everyone is facing a lot of network problem. So with this one, if I get the mandate, we are going to work in hand with the IT department to make sure we set up or we create more Wi-Fi zones, especially at the hostels. And another thing is, after creating the Wi-Fi zone at the hostels, we'll make sure we are going to receive a feedback. So when we realize they are still facing the network issue, what we are going to do is we are going to talk to the network communication or the telecommunication team so that they will come in and boost the network system for us.
How will you work with the administration to ensure that telecom companies like Vodafone increase their broadband or increase their network outreach for students to access digital resources?
Okay, so with that one, is it every student has to connect him or herself to the internet, especially this school that if a minute pass and then you're not on the internet, the school can graduate without you.
Very true.
So local news, my government is going to make sure that we partner with the higher power on campus now, which is the SLC, where we can also invite MTN to the face. Through the administration, we invite MTN to the face. And then this is what we are going to do. Once Vodafone is willing to, let's say now Vodafone is giving us 3 gig. You get it? Once we invite MTN inside, we will also put our conditions to them that this is what we intend of doing. Because Telecel and then MTN, they are all brands that want to market wherever there is space. So once we bring in these people, there will be a competition. And then do you think MTN2 will come with just 3 gig? No, they will increase the price. This is what Lolisto will try and do once he gets the power.
Moving on, I want to ask concerning the network on campus. As a school or the school is turning digital, doing the digital way, where you have classes on Zoom, classes you have access to the VLE virtual learning platform. You also have to access this, internet at the hostels. People complain that the network on campus is very, very bad. The bandwidth of the Wi-Fi is very, very low, and the gig given us by Vodafone is not enough for us to perform our research as engineering students or as computer students. What's your plan as the next news president concerning that?
Okay, so thank you very much for the question. You see, taking network system on the whole, you see, one thing about network is that, you see, the whole Takwa, per my survey, see, me coming on board as the next local NUGS president, I have to do my service, you understand? Not just carry out my experiment, but then to go on board, ask them what is worrying them. So what all that is concerned this network system is that, you see, but the bandwidth of the bandwidth of Takwa is very low. I don't know whether you get me. So the bandwidth on you might have forgotten the actual figure, but then the bandwidth is very low. So what I will do is that me coming on board as a local NUGS president, all that I will do is that I will liaise with the SRS president, because you see, taking NUGS, for instance, NUGS is centered with academic affairs of the student. I don't know whether you get me. Well, through our times in SHS1, SHS2, HS1, we were still part of me, but then through that one, the local NUGS president was advocating to the education minister through GES. That's why when we were there, then they will bring to us exercise books, pens, when they write not for sale. Ask me what we were all part of NUGS. I don't know whether you get me. So considering the network system on campus, if I'm to tell you that local NUGS president can actually solve this network system on campus, I'm lying to you. But then what we can do is that we liaise with the SRC president, tell them this, and if we have our suggestions towards the network system, then we can just increase the bandwidth of UMAT. And with the telecell too, we just have a dialogue with them. Tell them that, oh, this and this and this is what is worrying students. Because I even realized that when we are giving the telecell SIM card, students don't even have eSIM, because I realized number of students on campus are even using iPhones, of which they put the SIM card in YAM phones. I don't know whether you get me. So right now, if we are to even get an eSIM for them, it will even help them. So the network system on campus, if we are to increase our bandwidth, right now we being on Takwa, even it's not just UMAT which has a lower bandwidth. The people of Takwa are even suffering bandwidth. So what I will do is that we get a stronger bandwidth for UMAT together with the SRC, because local news can't do this. Ask me why. Because students are paying 300 cedis to the SRC and paying 10 cedis to NUGS. I don't know whether you get me. And if we are about 15,000 population on campus, 300 cities times 15,000 and 10 cities times 15,000, who is supposed to do the bigger work here? That's what I'm telling you, that local NUGS is concerned with academics. I don't know whether you get me. Because if you are to read our constitution, it tells you that the local NUGS president shall be a representative of the student body at the NUGS secretariat. I don't know whether you get me. So all that we do is to represent the students. So local news, as a local news president coming on board, I'm supposed to advocate for the students, bring on board practical solutions. I don't know whether you get me. So me coming next as a local news president, if I realize that there are some problems facing the students, I will just liaise with the as president. You understand? Together with the dean of students, address this issue so that we can solve this problem.
All right. And as well, you know, school closes 7:30.
Yeah, sure.
7:30 school closes, and
Yeah.
many students don't live closer to campus. Some
Sure.
live as far as Tibebe, as far
Yeah.
as Champlain. Most people complain that they hardly get cars back to their hostels
Yeah.
after 7:30. And some students want to stay on campus to also learn, to catch up with their
Yeah.
books. Some live as far as 10 p.m. Struggling to get car on campus on the roadside is very difficult.
Yeah.
What's your take on it, and what's your plan to do it? Because many students are asking that question.
Yeah. I think thank you very much for this question too. I think before that, one of my policies I will bring on board under one of my policy, one is the bus shuttle policy. So with this one, when we implement it, we are going to set a bus transport committee. So that means when we set up the transport committee, either we are going to set up a bus schedule timetable, or we are going to create a mobile app for the transport system so that students will be able to track the bus system. And under that policy we are going to implement, the bus is going to work 24/7 for every student within the campus and outside campus, for everyone to benefit.
Will you advocate for the university to provide shuttle services or partnership with other the private companies to provide shuttle services to students off campus?
Sure, sure. So I think this shuttle system is one that is on my heart and I'm interested in it. Last year I was at Holy Standard, of which Holy Standard our bus system was not good. So if the school had a shuttle system that would be for the school and then it will convey us, I think that would be best. And of which I will try, I will not even try, we will do some sort of advocacy and then try to get private stakeholders on board so that we can deal with them.
All right. How would you do that?
Okay, so to talk of not even private per se, so to talk of this local NUGS president, local NUGS actually links the school to the government. So literally, whatever the government has, the school is also in advantage. So now, once we are in power as local NUGS president, first of all, the core firstly is to go to the transport ministry of transport. Yes, talk to them and see what they can offer us. You can see now we have these electric vehicles. Once we go to them and we're also students, then the school also belongs to the government. One way or the other, when the talks go through and then we force our advocacy through them, we could get a bus.
All right, all right. Moving on. Last year, as concerning the transport system on campus, maybe no, you say it doesn't fall under the NUGS paternity. I'd like you to talk about it because it's also concerned the secondary course of academics, where students learn and need transport to get to their hostels, but they don't get transport at 10:30, 9:30, as early as 5. They don't get transport to come to campus. What's your take on it, and what's your
Okay, so concerning the hostel, the transport system on campus. You see, UMAT is this school which has, should I say, a lower learning area, but then we have hostels which are far away, such as the Holy Standard Hostel, the Manjef Hostel, Greystar. I think Greystar is even closer. Yes, right now that we see when the school was coming on board, it made an agreement with the hostel managers. So some of the hostel managers, being far away, made an agreement with the school that okay, I will provide the students with buses. So you can see a hostel like Crystal is a hostel manager, student of students, because even if as a hostel, if a hostel is coming on board, a hostel manager is supposed to link up with the dean of students so that the hostel can be registered under the school name. So see, they brought their buses to the school, and right now the students are using the bus system. So right now, I don't know if you are saying students are facing this transport system is because right now I think the hostel managers are supposed to come in agreement with the students in that particular hostel. And you see, hostel grouping two can be grouped under two. We have freshers who come to the school knowing nothing about the school. You understand? But then they come into the hostel and they realize that, oh, when I was coming to you, I thought even the halls or hostels to be on campus. Right now, it's far away. Even me, when I was coming from the house, I realized I was like, oh, I've gotten. I realized they placed me at Chambers Hostel, Chambers Hall. That's Chambers, the hall, Chamber of Mines, and they wrote under Manager Hostel. So I was like, oh, I didn't know. So when I got to campus, I got down from the bus and I went to Chamber of Mines. I asked them, please, where's my hostel? They told me the hostel is at Manager Hostel. Where's Manager Hostel? Tamso Estate. Me being a Kumasi boy. You understand? Atonsu boy, to be precise, coming into someone's land, that's Takwa. How will I even cope with this? So I realized they took me to the hostel. So when I got to the hostel manager had this meeting with us and told us there's a bus allocated to the hostel. So when they did that, the bus it was moving around 6 a.m. So that means when you miss this 6 a.m. bus, that means unless you take your own taxi. And in the evening to around 5 p.m., when you miss it, that means you are missing you have to take your own car. But now all that we have to do is that the hostel managers and the school or the hostel managers together with the residents, that means first year, the residents are supposed to link up and have a meeting and talk about the daily runnings of the bus system. Because if you have to see the hostel, the hostel managers will tell you that they gave you guys bus. So right now it's up to the students there and the hostel rep there to communicate with the hostel manager and know the actual times the buses are supposed to move. And with the second year, so I know after we've been through all these first year system, we as being second years, we all miss want to fight to get a hostel on campus. So I did myself. I realized the second years are not even having a majority of the issue concerning the transport system, but with the first years, and to be precise, the hostels that are far away. So what I said, all that you are supposed to do is have a dialogue with the hostel managers, the hostel rep being the leader, talk to the hostel managers about the times the buses are moving so that they can agree on a perfect time for them.
All right. Mr. Kwans, I'd like to look straight to the camera and tell the people why you are the right choice for the next local NUGS president and not the
Okay.
others.
Thank you very much. So, as I said earlier, I'm Nana Kofi Amokwansa, a second year student of logistics and transport and a passionate student leadership aspiring for local NUGS president. As a student, I believe service, transparency, and progress. I believe my administration is going to create an administration where we are going to listen to student voice and bring solutions. So I, Nana Kofi Amokwansa, I'm ready to listen to students, listen to your voices, and bring solution to everyone. Thank you very much.
So I would like you to look into the camera and tell the person watching this video why Lolly Stewart is the best option and no one else.
So if you are watching me, this is for you. So the reason why Lolisto is the best from his opponents is that Lolisto look at the work that he's done previously. Initially, first semester is not an agenda semester, but then he's done more, of which if you give him the power, he's going to do more. So comparing just what he did without even power, and just imagine what he's going to do. He's going to do history. So if you are watching me now, have the courage and then have your trust in your listener too as well. He's going to do whatever you want him to deliver. Thank you.
Thank you. Who is NK official?
Okay, so Nana Kwame Albert Yosin, popularly known as NK Official, started his academic journey at Good Shepherd, yes, and moved on to St. Augustine's College, yes, and right now I'm in this institution called University of Mines and Technology, where I am a chemical engineering student in year 2. Right now, all that I can say is that I've been in this school. I understand the problems that the students are facing. You understand? I realized we are supposed to actually build a system where the leadership front aids in inclusivity. You understand? That's all of us. I don't know whether I get me. Right now, I want to come on board as the next local news president. And me being coming on board, it's not about self-aggrandizement and it's not about the normal leadership rhetoric that I want to make. But I want to bring on board practical experience, something to help with the student body. And I believe that if I'm voted in for as the next local news president, it's not just the normal leadership rhetoric that I'm about to make, and it's not just the experiment that I want to test, but rather to bring on board practical solutions to help the student body. Thank you.
Right. Rana Inky, I would like to look straight into the camera and tell the person watching why you are the one, why you should not look no further rather than Enki official on the ballot paper in the next election.
Okay, so the reason why I am the one, okay, make a talk. Okay, make a talking. Okay, so the reason why Nana Kwame Albert Yosin is the one, or should I say the chosen one, is that I've been through so many situations. Just recently, when I was going, I organized this bus system called NK Transport, even when I was not on board. And whatever I promised about sharing the item 13 and bringing on board a safe transport to the students was done. But when I was going home, I had this accident of which 30 people died and just 2 people survived. I wouldn't say this goes beyond politics, but everywhere I find myself, I think it wise that why don't I tell the students that I engaged myself in this accident of which 30 students died and not 30 students, but then 30 people died and just 2 people survived. It goes beyond politics, but I know since God didn't kill me and I'm still alive, it even goes beyond politics. But what I would say is that I'm a living testimony of miracles. And I believe that as I didn't die and I'm still alive, leadership has to still go on. I started this journey by doing these volunteering works, sharing official sheets, doing this transport system for the students, what do we call it, doing these tutorials for students. The feasible things I can do is what I did before even coming on board as the next local news president. So me, when I come on board as a local news president, all that I know is that God will help me to bring on board practical solutions to help the student body. Thank you.
All right. I forgot to ask a question concerning the classrooms that have been locked. NK, your yet to be predecessor, Tia, Sani, promised us that the classrooms will be open at all times on Saturdays for us to have studies. As you can see, the outside study. But she gave us a promise that it's open for us. But as you can see, now the classrooms are open. What's your plan concerning that?
Okay, thank you. I even wanted to say this, but then following the normal interview, I'm supposed to wait for you guys to ask me the question. You see, concerning our classrooms, I'm not supposed to even say my policy, but then it's when me coming on board, I had to study the problem that students are facing. Is I told you, NUGS is concerned with academics, anything academia. So as part of my policies, I realized the classrooms are not even open that night. But I realized, forgive me to say, His Excellency um, Parker, that's Kelvin Ofori Jr., promised us that when he comes on board, he will be bringing out, he will make the library a 24-hour system. But after we were done, right now, all that I'm saying is, as I told you, NUGS is concerned with academia. With the, I don't know whether you get exams. Right we realized the library is not 24 hours. A library system, which is 24 hours. Ask me, how would I do this? You see, there are workers there who are working from 9 a.m. to, I think, 8:30 p.m. You understand? So what I will do is that I will have this dialogue with the librarian, you understand, and ask him that what's making this library system not 24 hours, because I know that NUGS is concerned with academics. So as part of my innovations, I want to build up and press on with myself to make this library system at 24 hours. And when we are done to, we'll push on to the classrooms. We will talk to the dean of students, you understand, ask him why, because I realize it's not all classrooms which are being locked, to be precise. CB1, CB2 is not locked. I don't know whether you get me. And it has a strong Wi-Fi connectivity. If you are supposed to, I don't know whether you get me, if you are supposed to open the F1, A1 block and the Chamber of Mines block, you see the chairs there are so fresh to the extent that you can carry one away. I don't know whether I get you. So all that I know is that the CB1 and the CB classrooms are working. And I don't see the place normally full. I don't know what I get. Right now, all that we are bringing on board is that we are making the library system 24 hours. And I believe that if it is 24 hours, students will actually opt for the library than the classroom, since we have CB1 and CB2 working. So that means if the library is full, they can opt for the CB1 and CB2, which has a fast Wi-Fi connectivity. So even as part of my policy, my innovation, I have this policy innovation called the fix it innovation. Ask me what is fix it innovation. Is if we go to our classrooms and we even realize that the projectors there are not even working. Is it with our lecturers, and let me tell you one thing, with our lecturers, when they come and they realize that they're able to fix in their projectors to the laptops, you understand, project the lecture materials on the screen, do the assessment. Trust me, if not that you have this tight connection with the lecturer, if you like break your neck, the lecturer doesn't even care. But it's we, the student leaders, who come on board. So I have this innovation called the fix it innovation. What does fix it innovation aid? It aids in our perfect classrooms, which has the socket system working and everything in the classroom functioning well. I don't know whether you get me. Thank you.